there's a
That's
lot
right.
of
I mean,
pressure in your
yeah,
ability to be able to say, you know what, I'm going to go to the US, but I need to have something. Like you had a lot riding on that. You had a US visa to really be able to say, it's not just I have a business idea. I need to have something strong enough to be able to say, this is what I'm going to do when I get there and know that they were going to be able to believe you. So that is where I think you didn't just learn from those other businesses. You understood the process. You understood how to be able to present things in a way to make it easier for them to be able to say, yeah, I believe in you, which is really tough, especially if
yeah.
it's something you've never done before. Can you kind of walk me through that process and what that was like?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but I think entrepreneurship or being in business or what we
Mm.
all do in business every day is about, trying to solve problems, right? And I love solving problems. And so for me, I do get bored once I've solved the problem the first time, but solving the problem and finding that, identifying the problem, then solving the problem is what. So I had a problem. I needed a business to come to the US, and I solved
Mm.
that by finding a product that I could bring here. And you bundle it up, you write a business plan. I mean, that kind of becomes second nature once you've done it a few times, and you put the business plan together, and then you start to solve the problem that for me that I had to really solve was the sorry, understanding the US market.
Mm.
And I guess the real the problem I still try to solve every day is understanding and appreciating how big this market is,
Yeah.
how complicated it is, and how simple we have to make it, right? Because coming from a small market and having always done things in South Africa, it felt big and we felt like important, but and
Mm.
not to undermine any other market, but just the sheer scale of the US. When you talk, I'd often, I've worked with business coaches, and listen to people saying, well, find your niche.
Yes.
In a small market, it's much harder to find your niche. You need to be all things to all people. And the thing I try to do every day in this business, in this enormous US market, is to go, how do I find my niche inside my niche? I can't be all things. I don't have to be all things. Any one of the small niches any customer I service this year, if I could find another 100 like them,
Mm.
business would be fine,
Yeah.
right? And so rather than trying to find 100 unique customers every day, it's how do I just try to dial that niche in? And for someone who likes solving unique problems rather than doing the same thing over and over again, that's
Exactly.
probably the biggest single challenge I face as an entrepreneur is going, no, that's not in our niche. Leave it alone.
Hmm.
Let's go back into the niche. And so that's the challenge, but it's the opportunity. And so, those two things, challenges and opportunities, go together. And if you want to build for us, I tell myself all the time, if I want to build a big profitable business, I've got to really get dialed in on that niche and do it really, really well. And we've done okay at that, but you have to remind yourself every day. I have to remind myself every day that that's the game.
I love that. There are going to be some people similar that were listening to what you said. Like I heard it and it immediately resonated with me. One of the reasons that I focused on strategies was because I figure things out pretty
Yeah.
quickly. In having conversations, someone can say, well, this is what I'm struggling with. And if you've seen enough, you can start to say, well, I've seen versions of it, so I can pull from here, I can pull from
Mhm.
here. Here's a solution. The other challenge that kind of comes with it is it's one thing to come up with the solution, it's another thing to be able to implement it. And I think that's where the challenge comes for a lot of people.